Hey, what's up, guys? This is your boy Travis back again here at Big Boy Toy Reviews. After a small hiatus, I am back with a very exciting review, at least exciting to me, because this will be my very first. Oh, fan fell down. Hopefully, the fan is not messing up the noise or anything. It is very hot in my crib right now. My landlord needs to come fix my air conditioning, and yeah, that's a whole different issue right now. But I got a fan up blowing it right in my face because I will be perspiring profusely if I didn't. Anyway, and I even put on gloves to handle this one here. Because one, there's a reason why you don't want to get this figure wet in any way, and I don't want any sweaty hands to get this figure wet. We'll get to that later. But anyway, this is my very first StarMan 1/6 scale action figure. So this is MS-12. And from what I understand, all the StarMan stuff are MS something. I'm not quite sure what the MS stands for. Let me actually get her out the way so we can take a look at the box really quick. So at the top we have MS. On the back we got pictures of the figure with and without the jacket on. We got Cammy 2.0 because they did have another version. They have made another version of Cammy in her traditional green, kind of like bathing suit style type of thing, or leotard. I don't know what, like gymnast wear. So they did make one of her. They did make one of her in that outfit, and so this is the Street Fighter 6 Cammy, and this is just like a slip cover. And when you take this off, obviously the figure would be in the plastic there. We got maybe like a street scene in London, because you know, if you know, then you know that Cammy is from London or England or Great Britain or whatever. But MS StarMan on the top and the bottom. Not a whole lot to these boxes, surprisingly, considering how detailed and how expensive these figures are. So that is surprising that they don't do a whole lot to these boxes, and you don't get a whole lot in these boxes either. So anyway, let's go ahead and get her back into the frame here. And so I have had her for a few days now, messed around with her during the week, over the weekend, and I have to say that this figure is pretty freaking cool. I think this is my first 1/6 scale figure with rooted hair. I've personally tried to stay away from rooted hair figures because of the whole doll aspect of them, but I decided to go ahead and give it a shot on this one, and I have to say it does have the issues of rooted hair that I don't like, and because of how her hairstyle is in the game, that she does, you can see where her hair is like sewn into her head. I don't like that. I do prefer I would have preferred her to have like bangs or something to cover up that line. So that kind of bothers me a little bit, and that's where that doll aspect of her comes to me. But if we want to get a closer look, now she is a big girl, a tall girl. All right, because the figure is so big, I do kind of have to turn her to the side here to kind of get her into camera, because I can't fit her close up on camera, or I can't fit her entire body in camera close up. So she does kind of have like a weird kind of, and it's this part right here that kind of makes it look weird. We can take her head off and get a better look. Now her eyes do move, and they do give you a little metal rod. If you look inside of there, you can see her little eye movie thingies. So you can move her eyes. She does have that scar on her face. And so they use gel to slick her hair back and keep it in place. And that's what I was talking about that you don't want to get her hair wet because it'll mess up the gel that they use to keep her hair in place. And so it does feel like gel. It's kind of stiff, not super stiff, obviously. It's still rooted hair. But like these two little pieces here for her to have that look of the two little bangs hanging off. But she looks absolutely fantastic. That face is gorgeous. You can see they tried to keep the hair behind the ears as best as they could. And like I said, this is my first time having rooted hair. So, you know, for anybody that might see this video and have had figures like this, you tell me if they did a good job here. Now, I can tell that they tried to, anyway, put some baby hairs. They tried to, not sculpt, but paint some baby hairs there on the side. It's not really pulling it off to me, but I get why they did that. You can see kind of how the skin tone is kind of rosy on the face. Very, very, very nicely done. Very, very nicely done. All right, sorry about that. I got a phone call. But anyway, but yeah, she has like the blush on her cheeks, a little bit on her forehead too, it looks like. Then obviously her eyebrows are very nicely painted. Very, very nicely painted. Now, I could be wrong, but I've heard about some of these kind of rooted hair action figures having rooted eyebrows too. If somebody can tell me if that's a true thing, let me know, because that is wild if they also are putting like rooted eyebrows in some of these figures. But yeah, she looks beautiful, her head sculpt anyway. So that's it. Now, what I don't like is that you can, so this whole body is metal framed, obviously. If you know anything about these, they are typically metal framed. And I don't know how I feel. I know they can't, it's not that they can't, but it's probably not in their best idea to have a seamless head also. So like the neck would flow into that, and then you couldn't take the head off, right? And then you couldn't move the eyes. I know people have been working on like magnetic gimmicks for the eyes. That would be cool, but this might be too small for something like that. But I will say the silhouette is a little weird to me. Like maybe not enough chin, but that could be just me. I probably could pose her in a certain way to kind of get that chin to poke out a little bit more. But then you start getting that extra flap down there. I don't know if you can see that. There's like an extra flap right there, their neck. And that's because of that. That's because of this part here. So I wonder if people like cut this. Let me know if, like, again, like I said, if anybody has any figures like this and they have this extra flap, is there something that you do with this, dude? And if you have that hanging down, that little flappy hanging down, do you cut that? Is that something that people do? Anyway, as far as her outfit is concerned, now she is all silicone, and she is a thicky poo. And absolute, she got cheeks. Now she doesn't. Now she doesn't have any sculpted parts under these clothes. So no nipples or no private parts sculpted there. I did check for that. Nor did I think that the instructions or the description say that she did. So I don't know if these StarMan come like that, but she did not. Now we'll be getting a figure from SDG Studios next month, I think, that does have all the girly parts. It's their what is that on her butt? It is their Street Fighter. I think she's 1/3 scale. I want to say she's 1/3 scale Street Fighter Chun-Li that they just made recently. So I will be reviewing her. But yeah, and her pants are kind of like a stretchy kind of stretch pants, elastic, maybe nylon type of feel to it. This design on her pants here are sculpted. You can feel like this kind of beehive pattern that she has, this honeycomb pattern that she has going on here. Same thing here at the bottom. Because they're closed, the lines are very, very nicely done because they're cloth. Although they probably could have messed up the lines too, because I think these are just painted anyway. But they are very, very beautiful. For $200, it should be very, very, very nicely done. Her jacket is amazing. It does feel like real leather. Whether that's the case or not, I'm not sure. But it's close enough that it does feel like real leather. All the zippers do work. So she has 2 zippers here on her jacket on the sleeves, and the zippers do work on both sides. Let's see if I can get this one to work. So yeah, you can unzip that. You will get indentions if you're not careful. She will get indented with if these zippers press into her too hard. So be careful of that. This zipper does work also, but obviously you can't get this closed because her boobages are just too big. So she can't zip that up. They are soft because they're silicone, obviously. She has a necklace there. She has a little triangle symbol there. I don't know what that means for her. This is sewn down like this, so you can't move this collar piece here. Not collar, but this part of the zipper here. That is sewn down to her chest, as well as this piece. And nope, not the collar piece though. The collar isn't. Then you can see the little stones that are glued into her collar there. It looks like I got a little schmutz on mine. If you can see that. You can see that right there. I got a little schmutz there on mine, unfortunately. But yeah, that is done very, very nicely. The Union Jack, is that what this is called? This a British flag thing, is it called the Union Jack? I'm not sure. I don't remember. I think that's right. But then you can see here on the other side, no schmutz on this side. So schmutz on this side, no schmutz on this side. Now I don't know if that's a scratch on her jacket or if that's glue. It's probably, I would probably think that's probably glue. Again, very nicely painted here on the boobages. And we can see her. So you can see under here, it has that honeycomb pattern again. She does shed, it is shedding a little bit, the jacket and her outfit. You can see the back. I'm a little afraid to take the jacket off. I know it's supposed to be able to come off, but they want you to be really, really careful with taking it off. Now you can see the tassels here. I believe these are sewn in. Let's see if we can pull them out. Oh, no, they're not. Nope, you can't pull those out. Now, from my understanding, this is kind of supposed, since she cut her hair, and I haven't played Street Fighter 6, so I don't know if there's a story behind why she cut her pigtails. But I think these are supposed to kind of give you that feeling of her still having her pigtails, with these whipping around. This little belt, this little coat belt thing whipping around. So kind of gives you that feeling, I would think. Then we have her gloves. Gloves are they're okay. Fingers are a bit soft. She doesn't have anything to hold, so that's fine. I feel like they're a bit too glossy. I don't know if that's the case, if that's how they're supposed to be from the game, but I do feel like they're a bit too glossy to me. But they're fine. Nothing to really write home about. I do know the fact that these don't tend to have the best wrist articulation because they're just the metal frames that they're built from. So the gloves are just okay. I feel like for what you're paying for here, they probably could have did a little better there. The little studs or whatever in her belt loops here, or in her little belt sash, or whatever you want to call this thing, very, very nicely done. This thing is gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Oh, we didn't even talk about the boots. My bad. The boots. Look at the boots. I am super nervous about accidentally untying those because they are tied like regular, like real shoes. I love the leather on the boots. It looks so good. It's even like a kind of like a faux suede under here, like a hairy suede under the boot there. Again, feels like real leather. It does feel like real leather, and she does have articulation in these feet. So we'll get there when the in the articulation portion of the review. Obviously, she has the treads and stuff on the bottom, but looks freaking phenomenal. Her boots look so good. So I mean, what you would expect from, I guess, a doll, a super expensive doll. You know, it feels weird to own something that I would even consider a doll because of that rooted hair. Now I do have the other version of her. Who is it? Playtoy. Playtoy is coming out with a version of the Street Fighter 6 Cammy in the same exact outfit, but they're using plastic hair instead. And from my understanding, the Playtoys are usually a little bit thicker and more muscular. So I will get that one when that one gets delivered and when it comes out. But let's go ahead and take a look at her accessories real quick. I'm not going to do what I normally do because she doesn't come with enough to really warrant me to have to do that. And then I will attempt to take her jacket off and then come back into the video. So here we go. We have two of these, two hands that are just kind of splayed out like this. The wear and tear on her gloves look really good. Now that part looks really good. I just wish the fingers had a little bit more detail in them. Maybe they could have had sculpted the nails a little bit better than that. But again, very soft. But yeah, those hands look phenomenal. Well, not phenomenal, but I like the wear and tear on them. Then she comes with two punchies. Obviously, she's from a fighting game, so she's gonna need punchies. And the punchies look pretty good. A little paint smudge there, but I think the punchies, like, look at the thumb. I feel like that thumb is sculpted a lot better than the other ones. The paint is kind of fading into the plastic. I believe these fingers are a softer plastic, maybe even silicone as well. So maybe paint bleeds into the silicone. So I'm not sure about that. But if you take a look at this thumb, the thumb is not done as well as this thumb. It's even some flashing on that other thumb, on this thumb right here. So, and then she comes with two kind of arm guards or forearm guards. These are done very nicely. I love the scratches and the scrapes and the wear and tear on this one. Love it. Looks so good. And then the same here with more like a bracelet style type of thing here. It's got the wear and tear on it too as well. Very nicely done. So that's it. That's all she comes with. I guess she also comes with an instruction manual. What not to do, what you can do. She is very flexible, so that's good. She is supposed to be an action figure after all. So a schematic diagram of movable joints in a silicone mannequin. So they're calling it a mannequin. Oh, and then you get the little eye moving gimmick thing. You get the little eye mover. So you just hook her eyes through that hole and you can use that. It does come with a little plastic container that if you're not using it, you can kind of store it away in. So you do get that. You got some silicone gel for the haters and the trolls. Got some silica gel there, and then you get this strap, which, from my understanding, I think this has extra little buttons. Like if the little buttons on her collar fall off, that you can apply them if they fall off. So I think they're already sticky. I don't know if you have to glue them on yourself, but you do get replacements if you need them. So that's cool. Hopefully they do have adhesive at the bottom so you don't have to damage her jacket by using maybe silicone, or not silicone, super glue that might not bode well for her jacket. So, but yeah, that's it. That's all you get with her. And you don't get a stand or anything, which I don't think you really need a stand with stuff like this, because you don't want her to like be sitting on the crotch grabber and it permanently puts a line in the silicone. So you definitely gotta be careful of these taking a shelf dive for sure. So let's go ahead and let me see if I can get this jacket off, and I will be right back. All right, so we have her jacket off and we can actually see the guns. So let me zoom in really quick, because I was gonna get to articulation, but there's other features on here that you couldn't see with the jacket on. She actually has veins, if you can see that. So she has veins. I don't know how they paint those or how they get those veins inside of the silicone, or at least it looks like it's inside of the silicone. Unfortunately, you can see the line, the silicone line, where they basically glued the silicone together. I think. I don't know. Maybe that's how they got it in there, because it was like, I don't know. But you can see the veins all throughout the arms. That is really freaking cool. The veins here also, and I like the fact that they're not like exactly the same, which obviously veins are not supposed to be like that. But yeah, you can see those blue veins throughout her arm, which is really freaking dope. I wish they had it in her stomach somewhere. That would have been nice. I wonder if they have it in her legs. I'm not gonna go through the trouble of taking her pants off, but yeah, that's really cool. That is really, really cool. All right, so anyway, let's go ahead and do some articulation here. Let's see if I can get this going. Since I got the jacket off, now her neck, obviously she has the rod in there, so she can look up about that much. So that's pretty good. I did use the torso a little bit, so she can look up that much. It's a little weird then looking down, trying to be careful with the hair. Looking down, it's about that much. Then you got side to side, all in that neck. Very stiff because of the metal rod, but you can see her clavicle and stuff here too, so that's really cool. As far as the arms, they can go up past parallel. Going all the way around is just not really a thing that you want to do with these, but she can lift it up that much, go back like so. There is a shifting, so if you want to like bring her shoulders down, you can bring them down a little bit. You can move them up more so she can have more of a kind of a larger, not larger, but have her shoulders up a little bit more if you want to make her look a little bit more buff. As far as the elbows are concerned, she can, I'm gonna try not to rip her, a little bit past, well over 90 there. There is no bicep swivel in anything like this because it's just the silicone, so we're not going to worry about that. You saw the little ball pegs, that the metal ball pegs that the wrists are on, they don't move very well, so I'm not going to do anything with that. You can twist it here. I guess that's kind of an example of a bicep swivel. She does have a butterfly joint that can go across her chest very, very nicely. Obviously, you can see that on the photo, but butterfly joint does work very nicely. And even going backwards, she can flex backwards too as well. As far as the torso is concerned, she can go back that far. Forward, we're just doing the diaphragm that far. And then if we want to put the waist in there, she can go back really, really far. And then arm, the hand keeps popping off, and then bend over really, really far too. So very, very good articulation in the torso. Twisting, she does have that as well. She can twist there. Twisting in the waist, I don't think really exists. I think you're going to get most of your twisting up here, which is cool because there's no cuts or anything, and you can see some abs here. She does have some sculpted abs, and obviously her belly button. As far as the legs are concerned, she can get the splits. You don't want to hold her. You don't want to keep her in this pose because it'll probably end up ripping the pants at some point. They do have a stitching section part right there, but she can get the full splits. Way over 90 with that knee. She can kick forward very, very nicely. Backwards, even though she all cheeked up, she can kick backwards very nicely. As far as a twist, she can twist at the, there's a twist somewhere in here. So she is twisting maybe at the knee, maybe. Then as far as the ankles are concerned, she does have ankle articulation, so she can move her foot up about that much, down about that much, down about that much. And she does have an ankle rocker, but you can pull that foot off of that ball peg very, very easily. So there's an ankle rocker there, but you can't go too far because just like her I untied her shoes. Just like her wrists, they're just a single little peg there. I don't even know how they got that on there. You know what? I'll deal with that later. Anyway, that's it for articulation. So let's go ahead and do some comparisons to some of my other 1/6 scale stuff. 1/6 scale, yeah, 1/6 scale, 1/7 scale. Let's get her standing here. And I'll be right back. I also wanted to point out the inside of the jacket really quick. It's also done really nicely. It's got like the nylon material sewed in very nicely. It's very nicely sewn. I mean, you got some frays every once in a while, but for it to be the inside of the jacket, I think they did a pretty decent job. It looks like, actually, now that I look at it, yeesh. Is that tearing inside of there? Does the other side look like that? I don't know about that. I don't know if that's supposed to be like that. I don't know how I feel about that. Hopefully it's not tearing on the inside, because I haven't really posed there enough for it to be tearing like that. Yeah, I tried to zip the front. It could probably be done, but my hands are too fat and that zipper is too small for me to keep it straight. So you probably can zip that front. I just can't do it. I need much more dainty, delicate hands to zip that. And I did get her shoes tied. So anyway, let's go ahead and do some comparisons. All right, so here she is next to Crazy Noisy Candy, the standard version. And so she is obviously in a pose, and I don't really want to take her out the pose, but she is supposed to be 1/6 scale. Now, she might be 1/6 scale in a different height. She might not be as tall as Cammy is normally supposed to be, but her legs are bent a little bit. So give or take, I don't think she's as tall as Cammy, but she's right there. Now, and this is the Play Arts Kai Cloud Strife from Final Fantasy VII Remake. I think this is the remake version of him, but he is shorter, so I want to say he might be like 1/7 scale, maybe 1/8 scale ish. I want to say, I'm not quite sure what the Play Arts Kai scale is, but I know it's taller than your normal scale. But yeah, also silicone. So she is a full silicone body as well. Obviously not as ripped as Cammy, but that's what she looks like with them. Okay, and here she is next to the Devil Molly from, what is this from? Devil Molly from Hunters Day After World War III, which the way that things are going in the world right now, we might be going there soon. And then we have the 1/7 scale Space Bunny Yuto. So I know she's on a base, but she's kind of hitting that sweet spot right there. Also, she's a little bent over, but Devil Molly is absolutely huge compared to Cammy, but she also has huge feet, big long feet, and so that might be why she is scaling a little bit taller than Cammy. But I think if her feet were flat to the ground, I think they would be about the same height. So yeah, Devil Molly is right there with her. But most of I have statues that are more in this scale than actual figures, but I got a couple of them. So Devil Molly is one of them. I would show you some other statues, but of course, if you've seen this channel, you know those statues are not exactly appropriate for me to put on camera. And I don't know if I feel like doing the whole blur out thing right now. It's kind of a pain in the butt to do. I haven't figured out how to actually attach it to the figure where it'll move around, and I don't have to keep redoing it during the editing process. So anyway, but yeah, that is it for comparison. Unfortunately, I don't have any 1/6 scale Street Fighter figures to show, or else I would have shown her next star. But that collection is starting to get there. I'm gonna start getting some of those in, so the comparisons will start looking better as time goes on. But anyway, that's it for comparisons. One more comparison. I just wanted to compare it to some other large figures that I have that I guess you can consider them to be action figures as well. We have the 3-0 Hulkbuster from 3-0, and then the Heat Boys Leonardo, I guess you can call it Leonardo Party Wagon or Turtle Wagon, as he transforms in a turtle wagon. So some other bigger figures to show off here. I wonder if all my lights and stuff still work on here. Yeah, they do. Tell me, do you guys leave the batteries in your figures? Is that gonna mess some things up? Yeah, lights are still working. Does that mess stuff up if you leave those little bitty batteries in there? Let me know. But I wonder if his are working still. Oh yeah, they're still working. Because I thought maybe if you just turned them off, if you didn't have them on all the time, they wouldn't like start leaking. But I am no battery expert. So anyway, now that is it for comparisons. All right, so to wrap things up, I think she's fantastic. Now, I did notice, looking at pictures online and then looking at this picture on the box, they didn't quite nail the face in comparison. I haven't looked at that many pictures of Cammy from Street Fighter 6, so I don't know how close the likeness is to her on this box is to the actual sprite on the game. But these are definitely different faces. And I want to say these are definitely different eyes too. I don't think these eyes are quite the same. It's close. Obviously, these were probably like pre-production samples or something like that. So it's close, but I don't think they quite nailed it there. Oh, I didn't notice my background's all jacked up. But I think it's close enough. But I tried to hit this pose as well as I could. Now, I didn't want to bend the arms too steep because I don't want any balls poking through here. I don't want to rip any of the silicone. I will say this piece here likes to pop off a lot. It likes to pop this hand off while doing this pose. So you kind of gotta configure it to kind of pull it down when the actual meat is flexing, so it'll stick in there. So when the silicone is actually flexing, so it'll stay in place. But she can hit the pose. I thought about doing the bend over pose, and maybe I'll put a picture at the end of the video with her doing that pose, with me doing it, and then like the pictures that are online of her doing it. We'll see if I can get her in that pose or not. I'll give it a shot. Other than that, no, she's awesome. If you if you got the money to spend for something like this, then you probably already got stuff like this, and maybe even got her already. But I think she's a fantastic figure. I'm super glad to add her to the collection. I can't wait to get other figures like this, because I really truly enjoy playing around with these. I don't really play with them that much, but even just during the reviews, that's me getting a chance to kind of mess around with them and stuff. And hopefully, you know, I can afford to mess around with more. But anyway, that is it for the review. Please comment, like, and subscribe. And until next time, peace.